After every court judgment, there is also a release of the judgment document itself from the court. After every court judgment, the judge and the jury normally release a court judgment document, a paper that details the judgment in writing and how the judge came about the judgment, and even about the sentencing, on which particular count the sentencing was given on which count. For example, Simon Ekpa was sentenced on 3 counts: terrorism, tax evasion, and impersonation. Now, in that court judgment, you are going to see of which counts of the 3 did the court either strike off or acquit him of, and which one actually is the one that he is actually going to prison for. Whether it is the 3 of them, whether it is the 2 of them, or whether it is just one of them. And also, in that 3, how many years is he giving for each count, for each case that he is facing? For terrorism, how many years did the court give? For impersonation, how many years in that 6 years did the court give? And also for tax evasion, how many years is the court giving for that? And also, apart from that, in that judgment, written judgment, you are going to see the mindset of the court, how the court arrived at their judgments. Yes, how did the court arrive at their judgment? The judges write it there, explaining how the judge got to his judgment and why indeed they had to give Ekpa such a treatment, and of which of the charges is he actually suffering for, or is there any one they actually struck off. That is exactly what a court judgment document entails. And let me tell you, up till now, Finland has not yet released that court judgment. So it is very important that as you are making video, as you are making audio, as you are writing whatever you are writing on social media, know very well that Finland is yet to release the official court judgment for Mazi Simon Ekpa. And until they do that, most of the things you might be saying may not actually be in line with Finnish court, Finland court itself. So it's very important that we calm down a little bit about this Simon Ekpa's case, because you never can tell which is the key case he is going to prison for. It's very important. It's very important that we know. It is very important that we know that Simon Ekpa's family, that Simon Ekpa's friends, that Simon Ekpa's followers, and the entire group he represents knows of how the breakdown itself of this judgment. Till now, all we know is that he's going to prison for so and so case. That is not how judgment works. Even in Nigeria here, every judgment that is given always has, a court document that is released specifying. Most times it runs into pages that you can read to know the judge's mindset and how he came about that judgment, and in fact, what case you are actually going to prison for. Because you may be accused of 7 or 10 cases. It doesn't mean, at the end of the day, even if you're going to prison, it doesn't mean that it's that 7 accusations that you may be going for. And it is done everywhere around the world. That is standard court practice. And in the case of Simon Ekpa, that has not yet been done. And that is why I say it is a huge twist, because many people might be surprised or shocked when they find out the real reason, what that 6 years he's going to prison for actually is for. When it comes out, people will be shocked. Don't be surprised to know the chief, problem he's facing might not even be terrorism, might not even be that. So don't be surprised. And that is the reason why I'm coming out to say this is a breaking news. And this is a huge twist. So whatever is making videos out there, whoever are those people who are, dragging this whole case on their head, some are clapping their hands. You do not understand the dynamics of Finland court and Finland judicial system. That is how it works. Okay, I took it a bit further to find out how Finland works when it comes to the justice system and, of course, court documents released after a court case. And you will be surprised at what I found out. I will read this for you. Listen. In Finland, district court decisions are generally not automatically published online, especially in full. Written judgments typically remain confidential unless formally requested or made public through an appeal or other official channels. Media reports are currently based on summaries from press releases or court statements, not on the full judicial document itself. Are you saying it? Are you saying it? Now, what can you do to access these documents? Listen. You can file a formal request in Finland. You may contact the Päijät-Häme District Court or the Finland Judicial Publication Office and request a copy of the written judgment. There might be a small administrative fee or conditions given privacy and legal protocols. So you see, in Finland actually, releasing the documents, the court judgments, is not automatic like in Nigeria, where you can just, the court releases the document. You actually have to make a request for the court document. The court does not automatically just release judgment for you. So I'm advising those people in charge, the group represents the USB or the BRG that based in Finland or abroad, to make that request now for the court's judgment itself, not these summaries like you heard it right now. I said, this thing that you see on the press is a summary of what happened in court. Or what people are using to do video now, talking about social media everywhere, is just a summary of what happened in Finland, not the court case itself, not the judgment proper. The judgment proper is not released until you make a request. That is when you now see step by step what actually is entail for this judgment that Ekpa just received. And that is going to be from a better judgment for everybody than to jump into conclusion and look at why he's going to prison and look at what he's going to face and whatever. Somebody is going to prison for 3 count charges. 3 count charges. 6 years. People should know how the court divided it. Which one is more chief among the rest? Which one carries more weight in the rest? Which one did the court strike out? Which one did the court leave? It's very important. Which one and why did the court even arrive at the judgment? Which evidence did they provide that showed, that was convincing enough to the court for people to believe that he did these things he did? That it will be contained in the judgment itself. That's what I'm trying to say to you. So share this video around. Share this video around for those in charge to know that the battle is not yet over until they see that this judgment was transparent as possible, and actually he is actually being judged, and the documents and the details of what he's going to present are made clear for everybody to see, and the reasons why the judge gave the judgment. Do you understand? Very simple. Very, very simple and clear. There is nothing to hide in all these things. Judge case, court case is an open thing anywhere in the world. But up till now, we have not seen documents. And Finland are not going to release documents for anybody until you make a request for it. Yes, they will not. So now is the time. I'm calling upon all those in charge, the executive bodies, to start filing, marching down to Päijät-Häme District Court in Finland now to formally request for the document of this court case, the judgment document itself, the release, the judgment, the file. Let them print it for you. It might come in pages, maybe volumes if possible. 10, 15, 20, 30 pages. You will see everything in that document. Then you will study it. It's when you study that document, you can now decide if you're going to make an appeal or not. And you make it, publish it for people to see, to know what is in the judgment. It's not a secret court. No, it's a secret court. No. Then you can now tell people, people will now know what actually Ekpa's crime is. Actually what he is facing. Don't to jumble it and say he is facing this 3 and 3 count charge. Then you carry 6 years and give people will now come to social media and start saying he's going to prison for 6 years for this and this. The 3 of them carry the same weight. Did the 3 cases carry the same weight? Let's reason well and get this thing done. Start marching to Finland court to print out, to ask for the documents. Let them print it out for you and let us see what Simon Ekpa is actually, how his court case went and how the judge actually, arrived at his judgment. Till I see you next video. Peace.